Just finished a little horse stance training. If you follow along, you'll see more on that soon. So tonight I'm just going to do a little quickness training. Speed, technically, but I doubt I'll be hitting max acceleration. Oh. Let's see. We're good. Okay. Okay. Just got to get warm. That retraction really gets me. I'm pretty good at the retraction, but it feels like an explosive bicep curl to bring it back, especially with these hooks. This hook. How we feeling? I know I'm not alone in here. I see you watching. Ooh. I'm pretty quick on the single shots, but it's always the follow-up. Loki dokie, you recently watched the Power Rangers short. Thank you for watching. How are you doing? Hopefully better than okie dokie. I'm clever too. Gotta stop rotating so much, you know? Over-rotate it, it's too hard. Whoa! Bob's a little squirrely. He doesn't respect me. So, you know, hopefully a few more years of kicking the shit out of him will do something right. I had loose legs. I did like 30 minutes of horse stance earlier, which, you know, is coming. But I don't know if I'll get max speed out of these getaway sticks. You feel me? You feel me, Loki? I take requests, by the way. I got toys. You guys like toys, huh? You like spinny doodads? Is that what we like, YouTube? Huh? Is this what we like? Is this what we want to see, huh? Titty chucks? Is that the secret? Vinicio Lynch. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Hello. Welcome to Thursday's training. You want to see something? I mean, I'm feeling pretty generous, so you can just call it out, but I got tricks. Okay. Let's see. You know, we got the head kicks, we got the hook kicks, we got the knees, the elbows, back fist, whatever you want, shoot though. Okay? Yes, sensei! Guys watch Cobra Kai? Amanda, Brohim, welcome to the dojo. Everyone's a bro. Okay, in the dojo. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? I'm a farmer. I want to show you guys something. You know? You think I just put my foot into Bob's eyes and mouth because he enjoys it and asks me specifically to do it? Valentine special. It's been a few years since I've seen spin. All right, spin kick's easy. If you can tell me what the Valentine special is. All right, make sure you can see me. I'm pretty close. So let's push Bob off. I'm the star. Robert. He doesn't talk back because he doesn't speak. All right, spin kick. Ready? Here we go. All right, let's do like a spin hook kick maybe. That's a crowd favorite. All right. All right, you ready? You ready? You ready? You ready? What? What? What you gonna say, Bob? Huh? Huh? Why don't you tell them? Huh? Tell them. Tell them. Tell them. Bob, if you say shit, I swear to God. Flying spin kick? Maybe. I have some torn ligaments in my spine. I haven't jumped really. Let me work up. Let's see what I can do. I am 25 years in, and you know, tore a bunch of shit lifting weights. No big deal. Okay, so I'm just gonna try a little. Oh, okay. I'll do a jump kick, and then we'll try the spin kick. Okay, so. All right, ready? Ready? I said, are you ready? Oops, missed. Okay, I can hop a little bit. I did half an hour of horse stance earlier. I don't mean to keep belaboring the point, but these old knees, you know, they aren't the same. Okay, so a jump spin kick, kind of like that. That was like a lazy version. All right, let's see. Oh yeah. Fly. If I could fly, you'd never hear of me ever. I'd die of starvation. Just ha ha ha. Na, 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 na. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. So if I jump, yeah. Should I get crazy? I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's see. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's there. Whoops, okay. I'm not gonna try the hook kick, sorry. But we can do a little question mark kick, right? You never open with the question mark kick. You have to set them up, okay? So you poke him here. Here. Right? I like the lead leg. It's a little bit faster. Here. So I'll set him up. Here. Over and over. 2-3 times. Establish the pattern. Then, as I come up here, I need to put more water in them. You guys, what are we talking? Martial arts? Or are you, in the professional dance world, people that don't dance are referred to as pedestrians. It's kind of like the slur, like, oh, you don't dance. What a pedestrian. What are we dealing with? Martial artists, fitness? You know? If anyone is a Super Saiyan, you have to tell me, legally. Okay? Because it's too fucking cool. I gotta know. Tell me what my power level is, man. All right. Try and get some speed going. Shall we? Add a Q&A sticker. Family have weird traditions. YouTube, you do not understand me or my audience. All right. Trying to be quick. Whoa. Okay. Jab. Just give him a little kiss. Okay. The lead hook is my favorite. Snap. Snap. Hook. Hook. Snap. Now listen, I'm not only a karate man, okay? You want to hammer fist that son of a bitch? That works. All right? Easy, okay? All right. Knee here, knee here. I think I can knee to the head. Let me try. I think I gotta do this side. Imagine someone just put their knee into your eyeballs. I wouldn't, it's a bit of overcommit, but you know, we do what we can. Key is to be loose. Back fist, I love the back fist. It doesn't fucking work. It always like fucks up these bones in my hand. Not strong, but it's sick. Cacao. Okay, loose. Straight to the target. I like to visualize skipping frames. You know, like in Dragon Ball Z, it's like here, then they're here. There's no in between. It seems to help me more than thinking like, go, you know? All right, Bob. Let's see what we can take. When I yell, the handpan I have sings with me. So if I hit like a I can't sing, so I didn't hit the right note. Can you guys hear how much powerful that is compared to a punch? I even like, everyone likes these big things. You don't even need that, right? If you can secure something or just twist yourself forward, that lead elbow, pop! It's right there. You don't have to throw it. You can just kind of lean in. Works real good. I think you should try it. And then everyone loves the, you know, miss, spin, elbow, or the spinning. Everyone thinks it's a back fist, but they're doing hammer fists. They're not they'd have broken hands. I've been trying to make back fist work for a million years. You know what else I've also tried to make work? This strike, which is hiraken, the leopard's blow. Pop, pop. You're supposed to, in here, clinch and knee to face. That's good. Yeah, you get a nice secure here. You pull them down, right? You don't even have to be flexible. You just make them stare like, look at what's coming for you. Boom! I love the tie knees too, where they kind of like, they'll sneak it in here and then they're like, ah. Take it in. It's nasty. Boy bisque, K noose. I don't know how to read. All I know is karate. That's not true. And then Krav Maga. That's right. Elbows, right? There's like elbow 4, here, up, 5. I've done the Muay Thai, I've done the Dutch kickboxing. Capoeira, right? Da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. You know what I'm saying? I like working like short combos where like an elbow here, use the wrap, the frame to wrap here, got a frame, sweep. Do you do grappling? Oh yes, I don't have a partner regularly to do it anymore, but grappling is super important. I mean, if you actually study karate, right, all these moves of like, are like, they're grappling moves. The problem is, these senseis don't want to, you know, they don't want to go into it and have all these kids like tug on each other. You know, it's not pretty. It's not on brand. Your back and your front, they're both here. I'm so fucking funny. Oosh, oosh, oosha, oosha. All right. Little break for old sensei here. Like this. I was thinking about getting some like glow in the dark ones. Turn the lights off, you know. What do we think? Oh, okay. This is an idea I worked on earlier, but oh, I don't have my second pair of chucks. I'm thinking titty tassels, right? Here, right? Is this gonna make me money? Do you know how to do question mark kick? I've been trying to practice. Yes, I do. Do you have questions, or do you just want to see it, or we'll be talking? Because I love nothing more than talking shop. Okay. You type, I'll talk. Question mark kick. The key is hip dexterity, right? Duh. But, okay, follow me for a second. So, the question mark kick starts off in the front, right? So, if you open a fight or a sparring match with a question mark kick, they're gonna know what you're doing. So anytime you try and throw to the head, they're gonna know. So you show them a front kick, right? And you touch them with it. Boom. Ooh. Right? They come back in, hit them again. Boom. Show it to them nice and easy. Hello. Right here. Right? Put it right in front of their face. Then, after you've established this, they are now prepared to go here. Bring your arms down. You then throw your hips forward, right? So I'm here. My hips move. The kicking hip is going to open out, right? So my hip bones are facing this way. They're straight on. Lift this straight and then open it up, okay? There's a fine balance between hitting that sweet spot of doing the question mark part, the flip. If you do it too early, all it is a delayed, like, over dramatized roundhouse kick. They're going to see it coming. So you gotta, but you can't also slip up like that, right? The point of the question mark kick is to trick them. So I like to delay this just a little bit. So I can flip where it looks like one continuous motion, but I want to hold back. I need you to have time to see it and go, oh, front kick, right? Because you've been, here's a front kick, here's a front kick, here's a front kick, boom. I'm a black belt in Shitoryu Karate, Shotokan Karate, Marcelo Garcia. That's way, normally people are like, you look like Andrew Tate or you look like the guy from Impractical Jokers. The latter's obviously much better. But Marcelo Garcia, fuck, I'll take that shit. Shitoryu, Shotokan, Gojiryu, and Ishinryu, so 4 styles of karate. The last 2 are very old school, right? Those are my black belts. I've done weapons training, obviously. And then I don't have belts in, kickboxing, because that's not how it works. They did have a sort of belt system in Krav Maga. I didn't really agree with it, because they were like, oh, you need to do 90 hours before you can hit level 2. And level 2 is where you learn side kicks. Now, I'm a karate man. I already knew how to do side kicks, but I was doing them, right? I'm like, boom, knocking people back. And he's like, hey, that's level 2. You're not level 2. And I'm like, well, I just used it effectively. And honestly, it looked way better than some of the level 2s in here. No big deal. But he's still like, and I would do like, Nidan Tobi Maigeri, right? And they'd be like, stop with the karate shit. And I'm like, I kicked this motherfucker in the face. Would the bow staff work in a fight? 4 belts. Yeah, I mean, so I've got, this is for Goju-ryu and Ishin-ryu. The dojo did them side by side. Shitoryu, or no, this is Shotokan, this is Shitoryu, because this is my sensei belt, yeah. So, gold, I got all this shit. You wanna, all right. I don't normally like to do this, but they are shiny. Grand champion, I got so much bling here that I honestly got tired. I stopped competing because it's like, I win gold every time and it's like, it's not fun. And it's not because I'm like the best, I'm just like, I'm best in my area. Which again, if you've seen multiple dojos, that can mean anything. With the bow staff we're gonna fight? Yes. Here, listen. This is my staff. It is a mop handle. This is a stick, right? Cavemen were using sticks, right? I mean, they weren't doing the, stuff, right? They smashed, but that works. So yeah, sticks work in a fight. Bow staff is just a thin, long baseball bat, right? There's moves in the kata where you literally are like a baseball bat and you swing it, right? Or you get sand and you flick it. That would never work, but. What is your opinion on Kyokushin? I do Muay Thai and hear of the forms of karate. Yes, Kyokushin is considered the hardest core of karate, right? They train full contact. Now, they don't punch to the face because if you've ever watched bare knuckle boxing, you cut your face up and then you just look like a ton of scar tissue and it's gross. And people don't want to come back to class when you write your name Zorro style on their forehead, So they don't punch to the head, but they punch to the collarbone, the neck area, sort of. Knee, they'll allow knees to the head, right? So you can give them brain damage as long as the blood is inside. That's the key, right? Just don't show it. Kyokushin is super hardcore. I've been to some Kyokushin dojos where the sparring was they hit you, right? But it's touch. But Kyokushins, they do block, but most of it is just tanking the damage, right? So other styles, you like try and get out of the way and, you know, stuff like that. Kyokushin's just like, nah, hit me, dude, I can take it. And so now they can take these and they can fire back. I mean, these guys are super hardcore. The one thing that Kyokushin can give you that Muay Thai does not is high kicks from a very close range. Every other style is like kick from way back here, right? Kyokushin is right in front. It's hooks, right? It's knees. And so they can throw a roundhouse kick to the head from a close position. I have to back up, my bag's all fucked up, right? But theoretically, if you can get that hip involved, but not turn it completely over, you can roundhouse kick underneath an elbow guard, right? And they often have their hands low. Or you can sneak it up here, right? So, super cool. The dojos are kind of rare. So if you can find a dojo in your area to train, just to try it, please do. Because, like, there are 2 dojos in my state, and one of them is like family Kyokushin, you know, so like they're not beating the shit out of each other the same way. You ever box? Oh yeah, absolutely. Boxing is great. I actually, after I took kickboxing and came back to karate, I don't fight like the point fighters. I very much draw on my like kickboxing background. I'm very much more square. And then I kind of have a like pseudo turned, right? I have one hand kind of low. Here I can grab people's hands, right? Especially if they have a gi, you can like grab from underneath or pop up, right? Stuff like that. Then I have this hand in front, right? I'm sort of bladed, but here I have both legs that I can fire, right? So boxing changed my karate. And I think it's fine. My opinion is I don't have to, right? Because no one fights like that. No one does. They all go pop, pop, right? It's all the same. So boxing just took all the fluff out of it. Karate gives you 150 techniques right at the beginning, and you learn all of them. Boxing is like, here's 6 things, get good at them for 6 months. Is Kyokushin an evolution of Go-Jiryu? I want to say Kyokushin is an evolution of like Go-Jiryu or Wado-Ryu. It's like older. Kyokushin is rather new. Who gave him a black belt? We have to check this. Hey, you want to throw down? I like to spar. Please don't swear, Sensei. I'll try, but it is my honest expression of myself. There is no connection between Dagestan and karate, dude. Send him 2 to 3 years Dagestan. Dude, I could not handle, forget the training, dude. I couldn't handle the like 2 inches of sweat water that is on everything like a gel. No way. Nope, I'm done. If I could potentially drown in someone else's sweat, that's it. No Dagestan. Have you ever tried grappling like judo, wrestling, BJJ? I have. At the Krav Maga place, they had sort of like grappling, which is a mix of like sort of freestyle wrestling and just some like hand fighting basics. I've done a little bit of BJJ. I'm a white belt. You know, I basically know a few submissions, right? Like a few chokes. I'm not interested in doing arm bars in the street or anything, you know. I already have ways to break an arm. So I'm really looking for just like chokes, maybe, you know, a Kimura if I'm on top of somebody. But again, that's if I'm trying to control for a weapon or something. So, and my back is really messed up. So I can't like train BJJ hard and get like stacked or, you know, like twisted. Like I've had too many injuries. So I've incorporated the things that I feel are important, right? Heavy sprawling technique, right, to avoid takedowns. Getting out of mount, you know, like butterfly sweeps to try and, you know, a few things like that. So I've dabbled, but striking is definitely my thing. The sweat is disgusting. Yeah. You have no sense of humor, Mr. Okote. Maybe he does. It's difficult to judge tone from text. I often am like, what the hell, dude? And it's like, oh, no, they were just like info dumping. They weren't saying I was an idiot. What's up with Kyokushin as an evolution? Kyokushin was a split, right? Back in the day, the karate, like the heads of the styles, right? They all kind of trained in the same time, but they had different ideas of what was important. Some people thought kata was the most important because that's how you spread the art. That's how you teach it, right? They really focus on that. I want to say it's Masayama founded Kyokushin, and he's like, no, it's about fighting. If you don't spar, you aren't worth anything. You have to fight, and it has to be ugly. And they broke off. And so one guy went straight into kata, one guy went straight into only fighting, and then another guy kind of split the difference between the two of them. So it was basically just a lot of people argued and were like, well, if I can't do what I want in, Miyagi-Do, then I'll just make my own style where we do everything I want to do, and, What's your height and weight? Right now, I've been 5'8" for quite a long time. I'm about 155 pounds. At my leanest weight, right, when I was dancing professionally, so I'm like, ballet, modern dance, all that stuff, I was about 130 pounds. And then in my bodybuilding and powerlifting days, I bulked up to about 220. And that was sort of the max that I could hit. I was eating like 5,000 calories a day. I just couldn't do more. So that was like the biggest I've ever gotten. BJJ isn't the best for self-defense in the street, says Shonen. Right, because concrete and curbs. And, in BJJ, no one is going to stomp your head like they will in the street, right? And look, I get it. BJJ is like, but I can do all these things. I know, but like some people, like they'll bring a friend. So like, yeah, you can be on this dude, right? And you can have your hooks in and all that shit. But then his friend just comes and like slams you in the head, and it's like, oh, I'm glad that you spent 10 years training to look like a dipshit on the news. You know what I mean? Sorry for swearing. It is my natural state. Have you got a wife? No. Never married. Kung Fu medium, chicken nuggets. What's your favorite kick? My favorite kick is the front kick. And it's because of its utility, because it's the fastest one, right? I'm already pointed here. Boom! You can front kick a kneecap, right? John Jones. In my black belt test, I had to do the hyakunin, which is 100-man. So there are 100 rounds where a new person comes in, and I stay there the whole time. So it was like 20 minutes of people bam, 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 and they're sprinting because they get to take breaks and they shuffle out, right? So one of the things that kept me alive was front kicks, but not to like the face or the solar plexus. I would kick to the hip bones because they're running at me. Put it right on the hip bones, and they go, whoop, fold backwards. I felt kind of bad because I was just like, boom, and just people like, and hit the floor. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, and they get up and they're like, ugh. Front kick's my favorite. Although the question mark kick, I'm pretty decent at, So that's a fun one. The ones like hook kicks are hard on my back now, so I can't do them as good, right? But it just feels nice to get that roundhouse. But I mean, if I had a choice of putting the very delicate bones here against his hard skull, or putting my very strong dancer feet into his mouth, right? L. Karate only works against karate, bro. Why else do I need to learn how to X block a chop? If you're practicing X blocks, then your karate sensei is doing you a disservice. Karate is a name, right? You can, like, there can be a boxer that sucks, right? Just because he does boxing doesn't make him able to fight, right? People, I mean, look, you've seen YouTube. People box shitty all the time, right? It's like, and they think they're a badass because it's boxing. It's, bro, it's bone smashing. Fighting is throwing your bones at someone else's bones, hoping that they get hurt more than you do. That's it. The rest is horseshit, right? So, actually, this has to be, no, as long as I get this in a straight line, deliver force into your brain case, I win. So, boxing is huge. Every karateka should box. All of them. Because it just boils it down to the essentials, which is the original point of karate, was to get rid of the horse shit. There were no roundhouse kicks in original karate. They had front kick, stomp the knee. That's pretty much it. Because that's all they needed, right? Because the rest is just fancy stuff. You take 10 years to train it, but like you can train some dude off the street to go in a week. So don't learn to X block a chop. If someone chops you, you know, I've never done an X block. I have blocked, right, with one hand and cleared the guard to come over, right, which is the point, right? But karate doesn't train that way. The point is block one, clear it, go back in. But we practice it like this. Everyone thinks this is the block. I've blocked you. No, I already blocked you before. 1, 2. That's the point. People don't train it. So if you look at actual karate applied the way it's supposed to, not the way it is, the way it's supposed to, it looks a lot more like boxing. Here, slip and parry, right? It's the same thing. But when you're teaching a child, you have to go, okay, put your hand here, put your hand here, put your leg there, and stand, you know, like you have to break it down like that. I've taught too many kids. Would you beat a BJJ purple belt? Hell no. Are you kidding me? The only way I beat a BJJ purple belt is by slamming my elbow into his brain as fast as possible, right? A purple belt is gonna fucking annihilate me. Probably gonna tear my like, that's a big reason I don't do BJJ anymore is I can't get leg locked and have my MCL teared, you know? Like, I'm too old for that, right? That's like a young guy's game. If you only had to pick one martial art for the rest of your life since birth, what would it be? That depends. I mean, what is the goal, right? Is the goal to be the most lethal? Is the goal to get the most general physical exercise for my health, right? Is it the thing that satisfies me the most, right? I can do kata and it's fun, but it's not the same as fight training, right? So I would pick MMA because to me, the style stuff, I wear the gi and I wear the belt, but it's all the same stuff. I don't get bent out of shape about labels of like, oh, technically, we do it this way and you do it that way. So that means you're stupid. And actually, this is like I don't have time for that shit. I don't care. Again, it's bone smashing. So as long as you smash the bones in a generally, you know, linear fashion, you use the basic principles of physics. That's really it, right? I firmly believe. Not only in just grappling, but like, have you ever considered what would happen if you just like squeezed someone's eye or like their fingers and just crushed them, right? No one talks about that. But if you have a strong grip, you can fuck people up just squeezing them really hard. What? That's legit, right? I talked about this in my self-defense video, but you know what technique is not taught in any martial art? I'll show you. Ready? Push. Most street fights start with a push, and it works. People get pushed, they don't expect it, their head hits the concrete, and then they're in a coma. It doesn't take, all these 6-piece combos to do anything. All you got to do is get someone to knock their head against something. So to me, I'll answer the question, but to me, styles is kind of like, what are you talking about? Oh, I'm better because actually my pinky is folded this way. People just want to be unique. Why do the X blocks suddenly became like a popular topic? It's a super niche block. People don't know that we almost never do it. I know, but that's the thing, like the people that are the heaviest critics have not really like actually been to the dojo and seen it. And yeah, it's like, and it's all these things, and I've never done an I've blocked with 2 hands, right? You can argue that Moro Tyuke, it looks like this. It's kind of similar to a Dutch kickboxing roundhouse block, right? Here, it's reinforced. Not because I'm holding it, but I'm just putting 2 hands on the problem. Would you mind demonstrating a hook kick on Bob? Not at all. Okay, everyone, the hook kick to the head is the big, the big kahuna. Everyone likes the hook kick to the head. I got a little shallow there. Right, or the spinning version where you come around this way and you smash the camera, right? Oh, damn. Hold on. Okay, whew. Hit the tripod, good. Message retracted. Ooh, now I'm curious. Whenever I delete a message, it's because I've said some stuff kind of out of pocket. But I like the body. Why you not kick with your shin? I do sometimes, but to the head, I don't really try to go for the shin. Most of the kicks that I do to the body are with the shin, and I don't even honestly fully like straighten it out, right? It looks a little more like a Thai kick-ish, right? I'm not doing the same pivot, but I'll throw like a baseball bat kind of kick. It's like a lot more effortless than the snapping kick. The snapping kick is just like high control, and so, it's like harder. I like the charismatic charm of this guy. Mr. Okote. Damn. Ruffling my tail feathers. Type of dude to have a pet rat. I don't. I would love to have a pet bird, like a conure, the ones that like dance and they do like, they walk like this, I love that shit. No pet rat. My sister had a pet rat growing up. Apparently, there's this problem with rats. If you don't breed them, they like can develop cancer or something. It's crazy. I don't really understand it. Do you have a course we can join? I'm working on it. So this weekend, I'm filming the first set of my general karate at home classes. So I'll do some very basic stuff. I'm gonna also put out some fitness workouts, right? In case you just wanna do the exercise, you're not interested in this. Those are coming, and then I'm setting up the Patreon and everything for live classes where we jump on a Zoom call and then I can look at you and go, oh, if you open up your right hip this way and engage the glute, those notes, all of that's coming. I'm working on it. So please come back. I want to teach. And I've taught for years. I've taught kids, adults, teenagers. I've taught we've done workshops for people like battered women's shelters and stuff. It's not like, I don't do it because it's like, it's lucrative, you know what I mean? I'm just passionate. I like your humility. Listen, Nerdy Night Owl, one of the things that has made me more friends and more connections than anything else is the fact that I am willing to be embarrassed, right? When I make a mistake or when I do something embarrassing, I'll own up to it right away. And I'll just stand like, yep, that was me, I did it. I said that you didn't do this, And, it was insulting. And I know that I did it. And you would be shocked at how people are like, you could just tell the truth. And it's like, yeah, but aren't you embarrassed? Yeah, a little, but who cares? If you practice humility, it becomes easier, and then you don't have to remember anything. That's the other thing. Like, I don't have to remember lies that I tell people because I just tell them and I just let it go. Idiot. Who's the idiot, Muhammad? Please tell me. What's the most effective martial art for a one-on-one head-on scenario in the street? That's hard, man. I mean, I want to say boxing because it's easy to learn, but it's hard. It's hard to say because you have to work within people's instincts, right? In a street fight, I'm not going to be primed so some guy walks in, he's like, give me your money, and I'm like, ha-ha! I've been sitting on the edge, right? No, you're going to be surprised and it's going to take you off guard. The training method of Krav Maga, where they lean into your instincts, right? What's the first instinct of a toddler? Yeah. Panic. That is technique number one in Krav Maga is, if you attack somebody and they hit you with 18 hammer fists in a row, I mean, you're gonna keep trying it for that $20? So it's hard to say. I mean, Krav Maga, it's not trained very well in a lot of places. A lot of places are very like cheap McDojo style. They're not true Krav Maga, but the aggressiveness is the kicker. That was half of like the first year of Krav Maga is most people coming in, they're like nervous. They don't want to fight. They're not outgoing, right? They don't yell. So it's weird for them to go, ah! And you don't go, ah! They teach you also to instinctively shout things like, get back, stop fighting, right? Because if someone walks around the corner and you're just caving this dude's face in, right? They don't have the context. So they're gonna be like, that dude is assaulting the person on the ground. So the proper training that's gonna work in the street is going to utilize your instincts, boom, 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 right? It's whatever you can practice easily, that you can get ingrained in your head, and that you can pull out without, like, some people have to warm up to be able to, do the crazy hook kick, right? But you don't need to be flexible to, and you can shatter someone's collarbone very easily. You only need like 10, 20 pounds of force. Boom! You can't do stuff with a broken collarbone. It hurts. Shonen, I feel like kickboxing personally. Kickboxing's another good one. Kickboxing gives you the tool of low leg kicks. People aren't prepared for this in the street, but I'm gonna do one better, okay? Everyone talks about the leg kicks, oh, boom, boom. It's like, forget that. You're getting too complicated. Foot sweep, right? Don't kick the thigh, kick their ankle. Boom! It's way harder to see. Nobody is expecting to be taken off of their feet. And I guarantee you they are not in a cat stance so that their weight is only on the back leg, right? Make it easy. It's the stupid stuff that works the best. Pushing someone and they fall over and hit the ground and they're dead, right? Tripping someone, they fall over, hit their head on the curb. That's effective. It's really effective, but it doesn't sell movie tickets. Muhammad, why is he dumb in your opinion? I am asking. I'm not here to troll you, right? And even if you're here to troll me, that's fine. It's okay, baby. It's all right. Sensei's got you. Okay? Everyone's welcome here. Beautiful hook kick. Thank you, JDZ. I have not been working on them because my back's messed up. So to hear that they look good, that means a lot. I appreciate that. If I waltz into your dojo demanding respect and I have no rank, would you defend your dojo against me for honor? No. What do I owe you? You walk into my house, say, oh, I'm better than you, and I want to prove it in front of everyone. What if I walked into your job and I was like, hey, I could beat the shit out of you. Do you want to go right now and ruin your career? You know what I mean? I get what you're asking, right? Like, if you showed up to the dojo and we're like, hey, like, I haven't had some training, but I'd love to like play around and stuff, I'd spar with you for sure. But Shonen, I would absolutely spar with you, you know, experiment. McGregor had a really good hook kick back in the day. McGregor had a lot of good stuff back in the day, and you know, I don't know what happened. I have no idea what he got into, you know what I mean? Shonen, you talk big game, but have nothing to show. Okay, possible, but you don't know that, right? Often, okay, what was it, Game of Thrones? They're like, if you need to tell someone you're the king, you are not the king, right? If you need to convince everyone verbally that you're the biggest boy and the biggest badass, then you're projecting that you're not, right? Over and over, you see it, and it's like, people think that the cool guy's like, no, the cool guy doesn't give a shit, but for real, right? So it's like, I don't care, you know? But you don't know, Shonen could be a horse. Shonen could be an ex-world glory champion. You don't know. I'll get into comments on martial arts videos with people, and they're like, you know, karate didn't have roundhouse kick, and it's like, you know, I didn't know that. The profile picture should have suggested, you know, but what do I know? Are you a dojo storm, though, Shonen guy? I've considered dojo storming, but I feel like I'd want to show off too fast, and I'd want them to be like, you've trained before, and be like, I don't know. Right? Lieutenant Dark, Shonen 1, you're a LARPer. Mr. Okote, you accidentally rizzed this guy. That's a skill. I've avoided more fights with talking than fighting, right? And a lot of time, like, people don't really approach me because I look like I might be looking for an excuse to roundhouse kick someone, you know? And, you know, I'm bald, you know, but a lot of times when it's really hit the fan and someone's like, hey, and they've got friends and stuff, it's amazing. I'm like, dude, like, and you just like become a different person, and it like short circuits them. They want you to be like, but if you're like, man, like, I'm just saying, like, that's crazy, you know, and they're like, it kind of takes the piss out of their vinegar, you know? I wish you the best on your journey, man. See you, don't quit. Oh, snurdy night owl. I appreciate that. I will not quit, specifically because you instructed me to do so. Thank you. I'm teasing, but I do appreciate it. Wrestling, LOL. I would say boxing is easy to learn. Boxing is easy to learn. A lot of people think they can learn on their own. Like, you got a lot of like YouTube martial artists that are just like, well, I've studied a lot of tape, you know? But no matter what you're doing, unless you're a natural athlete that has like innate body awareness, you need someone to look at you, right? I've done this where like I do a kick, right? And I'm like, oh, that was sick. And then I record it and I look at it and it's like, and I'm like, oh, Jesus. And I'm a professionally trained dancer. I got body awareness for days, and I still got to do that stuff. So boxing is easy to learn if you get a little coach. Nah, mine was a takedown when I was young. FT City 44. JDZ World, hammer fists. Yep, it works. Just throw a tantrum. Yeah, wrestling is more intuitive. Yeah, and that's a skill too. Like, something I learned dancing was called contact improvisation. So I did a lot of lifting, right? Like, head, that kind of stuff. But if you don't plan it, you kind of just end up rolling on each other and like leaning, and then like, Bob kind of like falls forward and I like pick him up. You get good at reading people. So reading someone's body pressure and intentions, like if you were tuned in and you're connected to someone, right? You can tell when their back leg is engaging, right? You can tell. So that kind of innate skill and being able to like improvise and switch positions on the fly, huge. That's why wrestlers dominate everything. Wrestlers dominate like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, strikers. It's just they got that dog in them, Those hammer fists are insane because it's natural to every animal. Yeah, and we're animals, so it is not natural to, but it is natural to, and that's another one. If you palm somebody, Boss Rutan was knocking bitches out with a palm hook 30 years ago in K1, right? Boom, boom. Because you weren't allowed to strike with a closed fist. So he's like, I don't need a fist. I got this meat thing on the end. I'll just slap you with it. It works. Crazy. Lieutenant Dark, you should try Muay Thai. I have. It's super fun. It's really fun, and there are few rules against karate-style moves. The major advantage to trying it is having to deal with punches to the head, which may be very beneficial. I've always trained with punches to the head, personally. I've been at dojos where they touch, but they don't really, but oftentimes the black belts or the dudes in particular, it's like we kind of have a gentleman's agreement that like we're going to kind of ramp it up, right? And I bled through, I think 3 or 4 gis. My first day back at, I did karate in chunks, right, for a few years, and then a few years later. When I came back, my first day back as a 15-year-old, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Boom! Bleeding all over. And it was a black belt that hit me. It was like, begin, boom! And he just went back. And I'm like, oh, and it was crazy. I trained for like 5 months, my nukite, because I knew at one point it was gonna come up. And he always liked to partner with me, right, to beat the shit out of me. So I waited, and I was like, I've been training this for a long time. And it's like, okay, and he underestimated me, right? So he's like, okay, whatever. And I go, Sah! Get him right between the abs, and he was like, Aah! He didn't hit as hard after that. It's wild. If you throw your Thai combos as karate combos, they work so much better. Yeah, it's wild how like the marriage to the style of kick, it's like, it's not terrible for a Muay Thai practitioner to get good at snap kicks because they don't have to do snap kicks, but the physical abilities, right, the quickness, the lightness, that's valuable. Having more tools is always better. But you clearly understand that, JD. Mr. Okote, you USA people have a fuck ton of McDojos. Yeah. It's the American dream. Here in Latin America, the vast majority of dojos are dirt poor and very hardcore. And that's my experience too. I've been part of a big commercial dojo, 500 students, right? Going to competitions all the time. The fighters, it wasn't hardcore, but they had to market towards children, teenagers, and the parents too, right? The parents have to be okay with that stuff. The dojo that I went to where I bled all over, that was hardcore. It was Shitoryu style, but we fought full contact. One time I got kicked in the nuts. Boom, that's illegal. It's illegal. And I was like, Sensei, he kicked me in the nuts, man. That's illegal. And he's like, should have blocked it. What are you gonna do in the street? Tell him, oh, that's not allowed. So it was expected in that dojo that you're gonna get hit with some illegal stuff. If you need to be ready. And I learned so much. And my sensei, he was so funny. He'd be like, kick me as hard as you can. Go ahead. And he's not like shredded or anything. He just looks kind of like a normal guy, big old mustache. Come on. I full on kick him and I push myself backwards. And he's just like, ha, 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 ha. Now I'm going to kick you. And he would do stuff where he'd like sweep me. I'd go completely horizontal and then he'd slam me into the ground. I loved it. What country are you from, Mr. Okote? JD, 100%, that's why boxing and wrestling is so common over here, because every other martial art is watered down. Yeah, and we get caught up in like, oh, look how like powerful my strikes sound. Right? Oh, doesn't that sound cool? Oh, look at this gold. Isn't that nice? But they forgot that like being skilled without the fluff also looks cool. Right? Boxers look cool as hell. And yeah, and that's the answer. Like, karate needs to be simple. It's made complex for a lot of reasons, right? To keep people interested. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to do. I'm a performer, I'm a dancer, right? So I'm used to performing stuff that isn't like meant for combat or whatever, right? It's just for entertainment. But, you know, they just get to the point. And that's human history, man. I love the like long, complicated stuff, but getting to the point is how we move forward. That's how MMA got started, boxing. It's just get to the point, dude. Skip the 30-minute intro on the YouTube video. Just tell me what I want to know right now. In my city, there are a lot of dojos and gyms, and all the teachers are really professional. That's nice. That's not everywhere, you know. And some people, you know, in small towns, you don't really have an option, you know, unless you want to drive for 2 hours, which I've driven 2 hours multiple times a week to a dojo because it was the best. But that's not possible for everyone and not feasible, you know, and it's not fun. Tony Soprano, what about Russian Sambo? Sambo's hardcore as hell. I like Sambo. Because again, they just get there, it's like, no. We're not gonna, oh, throws are illegal. Fuck you, man. Whoop. And they do it all. It's hardcore as hell. Again, the ones that just go for it and are like, just figure it out, right? I mean, there's obviously crazy levels of technique to wrestling and grappling and all this stuff. But there's something about that muscling through it, you know? Sambo's crazy. And if you're Russian, I mean, 2 to 3 years Dagestan is one level, but Russian I feel like is like right underneath there, you know? I mean, you just ask the right person, they'll probably pump you up with some stuff. Leg kicks are effective though. They are, but I find that I don't want to rely too much on pain compliance, right? Like making someone hurt, I can't like guarantee, right? Like if someone has just a huge leg and has a lot of mass, I might not be able to like snap their IT band or anything, right? They're effective, but it's a deterrent, right? It's like a wrist lock or something like that. It hurts, yes, but you can get around that, and if you're in shock or you have adrenaline, the pain might not register until later. Or their ribs. Yeah. I'm from Argentina. That's awesome. When I was dancing, it's not the same, obviously, but one of the tours we did, we toured through Brazil, and the main places we were in Sao Paulo and Fortaleza. Beautiful. Oh my God. Oh my God. I got the worst sunburn of my life there. I mean, I'm white as hell, right? But I turned purple in that Brazilian sun. Here, Taekwondo, it's like ITF, yeah. Super popular style. K-pop instructors are really good too. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, say what you will about Taekwondo, right? Oh, they don't punch. But I had a karate sensei that had a black belt in Taekwondo, and he could, on command, hit me with a spinning back kick no matter what. And he'd tell me, he's like, I'm gonna hit you with a spinning back kick. And I'm like, right? I try and go to the side, and he's just, and the moment I commit, it's like frame 1 here, frame 2, and like the foot is in my face. Every time, and he'd do it again and again, and it's so annoying. Because if someone can hit you with the same technique and you know it's coming, they're clowning on you. Leg kicks shatter and cut down people while maintaining distance. Possibly. Okay. If we're talking leg kicks like in the kickboxing sense, that's where I'm like, I mean, you're counting on. If you blast someone in the knee and you're trying to like cripple them, oh yeah, that's totally effective. Like if you're doing joint destruction, you know, that'll work. I mean, the Goju-ryu and judo. Mr. Okote, Goju-ryu is my favorite and core style of karate. I won grand champion with Suparinpe. Seisan's one of my favorites. Shisochin is you know, that like open hand stuff. I love it. And I just love the closeness, right? Like I'm like I don't like to fight here. I like to get in here and I like to, you know, like get dirty, you know? Don't clip that. If you want distance, teep. Oh yeah, and I don't throw a lot of rear leg kicks, honestly, unless I'm trying to put someone down. For those teeps where you're just kind of checking someone and keeping them at a distance, I fight with a kind of light front leg so I can throw that one. It's faster, it's already in front, the hip's already extended. Nowadays, I'm not concerned with max power, right? I've already proven I can kick harder than some people and punch harder. Like, I was the strongest in my last dojo. You don't need it. You don't need 100% of your muscular power to blast his brain. You just need to spin him a little bit, whoop, and then his brain hits the wall, and that's it. You just need enough. What's the hardest trick you can do? I think I'm still finding out what I can do after heavy back injuries. I was walking with a cane for like a year and a half or something. I can't feel the left half of my body. Like I can't feel the scratching here. So I've got some back problems, right? So I don't really know what I can still do. I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, probably the spinning kicks, or, you know, I can jump pretty far. I don't have enough room in my house, but like I'm pretty good at traveling with a jumping kick. What's the hardest thing I can do? I don't know. I'll meditate on that. I'll get back to you. Lieutenant Doug, Mr. Okote, I agree, McDojos are a huge issue. Yeah. And parents don't know enough. They don't care enough to look into it. They're just like, shut up and take care of my kid for an hour and a half. I'm USA based. I go to an MMA gym and it's very good and hardcore. BJJ belts are notoriously hard to get as well. I think MMA gyms here are really good. Yeah, and that's the thing. If they're pushing you to get a belt and you're like, I just got my last one, you know, that's a McDojo. I wanted to wait. I was scheduled to test for this black belt like 3 months after I actually had the test. I was like, I need to prepare, like, you know, and like Kyoshi is adding in these new katas like the day of, and I've only practiced that once 3 weeks ago. You know, it was not how I wanted it. It was not when I was ready. It wasn't a McDojo, but they were like, you're over prepared, dude, let's just do it. And I'm like, no, I need to be perfect. I did a ki at the wrong move, so I should fail, you know. I was a perfectionist little bitch. Tony Soprano, if Khabib walked into your dojo, what you doing, brother? I'm getting an autograph. I'm not talking too aggressive, right? And I don't know, maybe ask him to take him down, because, I mean, I can't beat him, but to be taken down as a civilian? Time to go back to work, do a trick. Ooh, you know, normally, I don't respond to commands, as I am sensei, but, you know, it is a show. It is entertainment. So, you know what, I'll do a little something I haven't really done a whole lot of. Huh? How's that? Backwards, okay. We can go behind the back, over the head. We hopefully don't smash the overhead light. We can also go reversal, right? So we go around the back, reversal. And then we do a little, flip, and we're right back, right side up again. Lieutenant Dark, Khabib just shoots doubles and it's beautiful how it works. 2 to 3 years Dagestan, man. Mr. Okote, here dojo storm in between judo dojos used to be a huge thing in the 80s. Old heads here remember those days with joy. Yeah, back before the internet when like people didn't know about dojo storming, it was probably a lot easier to do and, you know, probably more fun. It wasn't, you know, people didn't do it for like Instagram likes. Lieutenant Dark, I would love to pick up judo. It looks really fun. My only issue with it is the inability to do leg attacks. It leaves a hole in your capabilities. I would think of it this way. Unless you want to make judo like your thing, don't worry about it, right? If you train other stuff where you cover those holes, it's like, don't be like, oh, well, I can only do judo moves when I'm thinking about judo and, you know, I have to separate it. Why? Why? If you know judo throws and you know leg attacks, why not do both? Just don't tell your judo sensei. I mean, imagine a tomonage or a crazy throw that breaks their soul. Yeah, and most people are not ready to have their soul forcibly crushed out of them at like, you know, 6 Gs. I really wish they would allow them. Judo is leg-based now. What do you mean it's 2026? I mean, I know judo contains ground fighting, but no one talks about it, you know, and it's not like, it's not really, you know, it's not part of the competitive scene, so. I know the art, they train some stuff, but that's kind of like saying Taekwondo has punches, technically. Imanari rolls are my favorite move. I'm trying to learn. Hell yeah, you can attack legs. In competition, you can't. Yeah, that's the thing, competition. The art, like when you're sparring, again, if you get one of those old school dojos, I'm pretty sure they will cover some of the, I mean, it won't be the focus, but you'll go over some of these things. IJF prohibits them. Yeah. Can you show us your head again? This? Like this? It's a very odd shape. I feel like it's very long, and then it's like bumpy in the back, right? You guys get a good shot of my bald spot? It's like the reverse Avatar arrow. Grabbing the legs of the trousers from standing position results in a Shido. Same with single and double leg shots. Shown in one. Self-training creates too much bad habits. That's true. That's true. I mean, I said this earlier in the stream, but, you know, I've been practicing for many years, and then I will film myself. I don't love watching myself. I hate watching myself back, but it's good because it can feel right, where it's like, oh, this feels like, you know, horizontal, like parallel to the floor, but then you go back and look and it's like, oh, it looks like I was a dog taking a piss, you know? But the feeling and how it looks is different. That's why old people walk around like this. They feel like that's easy. It's not, it's harder, right? Try walking like this for an hour. It's so much harder, but it feels easy. They're wrong. Lieutenant Dark, I think Kodokan allows very specific leg attacks, though. Shonen 1, hey, the mad martial artist, that's me. You can call me Sensei. You don't have to call me Sensei. You can call me Kyle. What is the big difference between the many variants of karate? There's some stylistic differences. A lot of it is appearances. Most of the curriculum carries over. So the reason I was able to get so many black belts in the different styles is because the core elements are the same, right? In Shotokan, right, the stance is going to be like here, right? I can't do shit from here. This is so hard. It looks really good, and I'm flexible, right? It looks cool. Super hard. Shotokan is about long lines, about good pictures. It is super low stances, super high hikite, and it's about like They're like the ballet. They want to show like the biggest, longest line. I'll be right back. Shotokan, that's the most popular style. It's the most commercially spread. Most people in the world practice it. It's my least favorite. Okay, don't tell my old sensei. That's the vast majority of karate practitioners. So, straight lines, everything's super strict. Shito-ryu, they have straight lines, but they're more balanced, right? Shito-ryu has more kata than I think any other style. I know currently maybe like 35, 37, including weapons. But my first Shito-ryu sensei, he knew over 100 kata. I think that's excessive, that's crazy. I can barely keep the ones I have together. So Shito-ryu, like their Mawashi-uke, looks like this. Very straight up and down, right? You cannot bend the fingers. This has to be like super like this. Shito-ryu, like this, right? Goju-ryu is in close. It's close quarters. It's like grappling and like infighting, right? So the Shito-ryu version of Mawashi-uke looks like this. Here. The Goju-ryu version looks like this. Right? So I'm really like torqued in here. I'm in this space, right? It's a lot of like grabbing and short shots, little hooks. Goju-ryu is like more old school. Ishin-ryu is kind of like Wing Chun. They don't turn their wrists over. They do vertical punching, and their thumbs are like this. I hate it. I'm technically certified in it. Okay, it's like super simplified. So Shotokan has stances like this, right? Ishin-ryu has stances like here. It's for like older people, right? It's like super high stances. You know, the kata are like super simple, very direct, very Okinawan, right? Even though it's like kind of new. Then there's so many styles. Shorin-ryu is an old school style that's like super relaxed. It's like floppy, right? And that's about like ease of motion and using body mechanics more than muscle. There's like Wado-ryu, which is like very heavy on sparring and like doing damage and just like hurting people. Kyokushin is the hardcore karate. You've probably heard about it. They are the only ones that go really like full contact. They don't punch to the head because knuckles cut against the skull. And people will stop paying you tuition if you make them into a Frankenstein monster all the time. So those are the big differences of the major schools. There are a ton of offshoots. There's like, there's a million different styles, right? But the big differences are like, some go for like pretty lines. Some go for like old man, like tear you apart strength. Others are just about, like Kyokushin, they don't do a whole ton of blocking. They'll block a little bit, but mostly they just take it. And so they're just punching. It's just who can withstand the largest number of heavy punches before giving up, right? So they're super hardcore. What martial art is this? I'm technically a karate practitioner. I've got experience in capoeira, Krav Maga, Muay Thai, done some jiu-jitsu, done some grappling. So my style is my style. Mr. Okota, you would get along with Ramsey Dewey. He has a dance background. I did not know he had a dance background. That's crazy. I mean, I know Bruce Lee had one, you know, but that's interesting. I wonder do you know what kind of dancing he did? I'm super curious. I mean, the skills transfer, right? It's just using your body. That's the thing. It's not that I'm really good at karate and Muay Thai and boxing and dancing and all this stuff. I just got good with the game controller that I have to use. I would love to meet Ramsey one day. I know he's over in China. My dad grew up in China, so maybe I could organize something. Lieutenant Dark is asking JDZ if he practices martial arts, or if they, sorry, I don't know who you are. JDZ, I did a boxing and a year of wrestling, and now I've been doing Muay Thai since 2019. And light BJJ and judo. No big deal. Judo's a killer. Yeah. What's your face? Ronda Rousey. That was her whole thing, right? She just she had like an arm bar and one throw, and she dominated until people were like, oh, like maybe we should, do something about that. Better at Muay Thai and wrestling than the rest. Sounds like you are set. Lieutenant Dark, that's a really well-rounded mix. Yes, it is. That is a martial artist for sure. Lieutenant Dark, at my MMA gym, we do wrestling for MMA, so it's functionally wrestling with submissions, and it's really, really fun. Yeah, I mean, a lot of wrestling is like just getting into weird, awkward positions and trying to find your strength when your spine, is twisted. JDZ World, fuck yeah, I've been watching lots of catch wrestling lately and using that. Hell yeah, dude. I can't believe some of the freaks that you see in these wrestling where it's like, dude, I bet, I used to not believe, oh, I wrestled a fucking whatever, right? Like a bear cub or something. But it's like, some of those wrestlers, I don't know. I've seen, you see the people on Instagram where it's like, take me down and I'll give you $100 or something. And there's a huge weight, discrepancy, but it doesn't matter. The kind of strength you can find is just it's so inspiring. Lieutenant Dark, and that boxing background is really beneficial. Yep, and Muay Thai boxing is a little bit different because in Muay Thai it's about scoring, right? It's a competitive thing. Muay Thai is good and it's brutal, but there are rules and it's set up for gambling. So Muay Thai, they don't try and finish people in the first round because they want to build some tension, let the bets rise, right? Get the money cranked up, and then they go for it. So, and there are styles, right? There's Muay Famur, which is my kind of style, which is the kind of tricksy, technical, playful. There's Muay Nat, I can't remember what it is, but there's a boxing subset of Muay Thai. But even then it's viewed as not as honorable or cool because it's not roundhouse kicks. Those score the best, so that's why they do them the most. Lieutenant Dark, I really want to try boxing. Best of luck, bro. Yeah, do it. It's super, it's not as hard, it's a low barrier to entry. You'd be surprised, super fun, very therapeutic. You have a bad day at work, go to a boxing gym. JD0, God bless you, Unc. Shonen, when I think of top tier striking, I think of Kyokushin and Muay Thai. Yeah, and that's, Kyokushin is one of the ones that is maintained respect because they pressure test their techniques and they actually strike. And if you do that, you get hit in the face and the gut, and it's that isn't actually that bad. I can actually continue fighting. Crazy. If I actually give it a shot. Okay, but why you look like Dave LeDuc? That's a new one too. I don't mind. I mean, I feel like he's a little bit toxic. He is a Lethway legend. Headbutt, right? He's the one that made the headbutt popular, right? Kudo exists and other things where they allow headbutts, but he is the singular guy, if anyone, that really put headbutts on the map. Lethway is sick, but so rare here in the States. Yeah, and I mean, people over here in the States are so bent on a shape of but I don't want to get hurt. I want to become the best fighter and have all the best skills, but also take no risks or damage. Yeah. W reference kind of does, but not really. Adis loose. Karate helped me get in touch with my body, so when I moved to boxing and Muay Thai, I cared more about the specific ranges of motion, how the end products felt. That is something that karate is good for, right? Because you do this huge breadth of techniques, you really have to master your body at all sorts of angles, right? Kicking to the back, kicking to the side, here, all of it. So the most valuable thing I ever got out of becoming a professional dancer was body awareness, right? I knew where everything was in space. I know what it feels like to have my forearm muscles slide against each other, right? I can tell the difference between central nervous system fatigue, muscular fatigue, or mental fatigue, right? You learn that stuff, and it's like a superpower. It's like having the manual to the equipment that, you know, no one told you how to operate. Aditya, this stuff doesn't work if I can take you down and submit you. That's true, but you got to take me down. I've probably done, I don't know, close to 10,000 sprawls, and I can fight on the ground. Mr. Okota, yeah, that goal to do closeness connects with that Kyokushin fighting style. Totally. Yeah, I think they're like, where Kyokushin, they don't have heavy kata, they mostly strike, they don't do a ton of grappling, right? I think if you blended them, and I want to say that Goju-ryu, like, was the core and Kyokushin came from that. I can't remember. I honestly, I learned the history, but I don't really care. You know, like, I care about what works, what's effective, what's fun, you know. I don't, oh, actually, it wasn't John Smith. It was John, you know, Rogers. I don't fucking care. You know, you think anyone gives a shit what my name is? No. You give a shit what I can do, what I can show you. My name doesn't matter, right? This is just cloth. I'm just a dude. 80 sleuths. I'm strictly stand-up, but with ground fighters, you got to catch them in their transitions and be brutal. Yeah. I mean, like, scare the fuck out of them. Right. You gotta make them afraid to put their head in front of you, right? It's risky to throw the knee. You give them the free leg, right? You can sprawl. And I mean, if you're in the street, there's no refs. So, like, what you should do is sprawl and then smash down on the back of their head, right? Again, BJJ likes to talk a big game of, oh, in the street, we're so much hardcore. Yeah, but if I'm slamming you in the head while you're trying to pull this off, it's harder, right? In the same way, it's like, oh, it'd be hard to punch me if I had my arms wrapped around your neck. Yeah, I guess it would. But it goes both ways. I can't throw a punch without exposing myself. There is no one singular attack minus, you know, the American one that trumps everything else, right? It's a chess game. Every time you make a move, it opens up something, which they go for it. You have to close that off, which then opens up something else. It's a never-ending game. Aditya saying, bruh, just watch UFC. 80 sleuths, just watch Alex Pereira. Yeah. Yeah. JD0, just watch Ben Askren. Just watch John Jones. Just watch Anderson Silva. You're the CM Punk of light. Aditya saying, Pereira is good, but watch what happens when he fights Aspinall. If you don't have the one-punch knockout, you're cooked. True. If you're fighting on the street and the person fighting you is like a UFC level person, you're fucked. You know, like, yeah, that's it. Hopefully you did your hair that day, you know, so you look good. But that is so sick. Also, what's this guy going to do if Khabib or Khamzat walk in his dojo? I'm going to shake their hands, get an autograph. I'm not going to antagonize them. What are you going to do if Mike Tyson walked up and started smashing your face in? I don't know. I guess I get smashed. Like, that's a weird question. What would you do if Thor just bashed your head in with a hammer? What would you do? That's what I would do. Lieutenant Dark, heavyweight pisses me off. I hate watching it. But with the weight behind moves, it's scary. Well, and nowadays, like, I can't remember his name, but there's a guy, I think he's a Taekwondo guy. But he's definitely heavy, but he is spry as hell. Spin kicks, jumping kicks, all of it. And the game is different. You know, back in the day, you could be big and, you know, not really train that hard and just hit hard. But now you gotta be big and you gotta move like the little guys. Shonen 1, using nunchucks is much harder than they look. I got the bruises to prove it. Yeah, I don't know. I had a bruise here from last week where I streamed doing nunchucks, and I was talking about how you learn. Because you hit yourself in a number of places. Obvious, number one, here, right? Number two is the nose, okay? That one hurts a lot. But the other ones they don't talk about is clipping your knee. I don't know why I felt like demonstrating. I'm such an idiot. And then the elbow, right? It like cracks you here. But if you can roll the chuck, you can avoid that. And that's one of the reasons I like nunchucks. It's difficult to master, you know. I kind of have a Michelangelo attitude of like, it's the hardest one to do. And so it's not even that it's the most effective. It's not. Like, I'd rather have a bow than chucks if I was going for maximum damage. But you don't really know where I'm going to hit you from, right? I can strike forward and out. I can go underneath and whip up. I can hit you from the left side or the straight right, or I can come around this way. So it's difficult to read, and especially this is intimidating, right? Like if someone comes up with you, with a bat, that's intimidating. But when someone pulls out this like complicated thing and clearly shows that they have years of training, it's like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah, they're not meant to be swung in actual combat. I did a short on this. I'm going to do a full video, but essentially, this doesn't work at all. Now, what this does do is when your college roommates flick bottle caps at you, you can deflect them with this sort of shield sometimes. But I'm gonna do this to Bob, okay? I'm gonna do this to Bob, and I'm gonna hurt myself for you, all right? Okay. Ow, shit. Ah, God. It's awful. It doesn't work. I'm hurting myself. I'm like smashing my own fingers. Here's how you use nunchucks, right? I'm holding it here so that I have maximum whipping control for tricks. That's not max damage. This is max damage. Okay, so we tried this. It doesn't work. It hurts, sensei. Use it like a bat. That's what this is. It's a folding bat. So you just swing it really, really, really hard one time. That is effective. That will break a bone and put him on the ground, right? Not this like, it doesn't even, like you can't even do it in a movie. You have to like fake it because it doesn't work. Lieutenant Dark, they do submissions sometimes for judo competitions, but the main focus is on ippon, which is understandable. Yeah, everyone, they always got to specialize in their thing. Lieutenant Dark, my favorite memory of my gym is when a new guy showed up and the instructor asked if he had experience. The new guy said he is self-taught, and the instructor replied, so no. Yeah. And look, I train at home, but I started training at home years after I had really worked on my technique and my body awareness. So it's like, I have experience. Have you sparred anybody? Well, I put a video up of Canelo and I like sparred back at him. It's the same, right? I watched The Matrix. I know Kung Fu, right? Lieutenant Dark, I'm a dip, but I like to stream, man. Keep them up. Thank you, Lieutenant. I don't know when you sent that. Oh, I appreciate you stopping by. Come back. Let's talk shop. Shonen 1. I was sparring this guy, and he turned his back to me and turned his head back to look at me and made his hands look like claws. And then said tiger style. I couldn't take his... Okay, hold on. I'm going to try and do this. He turned his back to me and then turned his head back and looked at me, and he made his hands look like claws. And he said, tiger style. Now, the karate nerd in me wants to go like, oh, Toro Noguchi, mouth of the tiger. Yeah, okay, but this dude was not doing Seisan. And even if he did, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Mr. Okote, yeah, Ramsey Dew has a college degree in modern dancing. Holy shit, so do I. That's crazy. Oh my God. Someone get Ramsey on the horn for me, okay? We need to do a Contact Improv collaboration. Khabib destroys Ronda Rousey. Thank you, Uncle Os. Who give her belt? I don't know what that means. Lieutenant Dark, once my wrestling gets better, I really want to go to Dagestan. It's beautiful and the gyms look fun. Yeah, man. Yes, respect. I don't think I can handle it. How do you tell the difference of nervous system fatigue and the others? So, practice. So nervous system fatigue feels like when you have the flu and you're like, it's like, ugh, everything feels heavy and you don't have the oomph, the like drive, right? When you try and do something, it's like, you feel like your arm is dead. That's nervous system fatigue. If you feel like pins and needles, falling asleep, zapped, right? If you feel just like drained, that's central nervous system fatigue. Muscle fatigue is very local, right? So if you feel just like down or like suppressed or like kind of like you're sick or something, that's probably nervous system fatigue. Bro, that's my fucking favorite no-gi choke. Oh, so I'm super behind. Okay, the Ezekiel choke. Shonen 1, the risk-to-reward ratio for BJJ in the streets isn't worth it. I agree. If you need it, pull it out. But don't jump into stacking your C-spine on the ground where someone can just like fall on you and paralyze you. Ezekiel Ninja Choke have been the go-to subs lately. Why MMA fighter and boxers can defeat Karate Man? Because karate don't pressure test their fighting, or many of them don't. Some do, but if you don't train against people that want to hurt you, you aren't ready for it. John Silva ninja choking Bryce Mitchell was insane. CNS fatigue, you feel mentally foggy and irritable. Yep. You also physically can move weight, but your brain doesn't let you. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Damn it, I've always got that. Maybe you should look into autoimmune issues, If your nervous system's suppressed all the time, that's not good. Lieutenant Dark, gets better the more you train. Neural efficiency increases as neural pathways for various movements become more myelinated. Ooh, Lieutenant. Oh, you're speaking my language. Myelination, hell yeah. Like, for example, a good chunk of the quick progress for people new to the gym is lifting weights comes from the increased efficiency and capacity for neural output. Correct. You're not getting stronger because your muscles are getting bigger. You're getting better at knowing which muscles you need to use and which ones you don't have to so you can turn them off. I almost never got muscle fatigue, but I just realized as my mind always get foggy and I go anyways because my muscles can still go. Yeah, maybe worth looking into. Physically, you aren't building like 15 pounds of muscle in a month. That's true. Mr. Okote, it could also be that you're low on electrolytes. Dude, Lieutenant, bro. Dropping the wisdom. Gatorade's not a good sports drink because it has a lot of sugar, yeah. Lieutenant Dark is studying neural engineering. Holy shit. Lieutenant, we gotta have a chat, like, specifically. Because I got nerve issues, right? I don't know if you're here, but I can't feel this. I can feel this, though. Any trustable info on YouTube that you recommend? That's why my mind moves a million times faster than my brain. My body, sorry. I hear you there. I'm noisy up here. I'm constantly going. And it drives me crazy. I randomly scrolled in here. I've been here for the last hour. Love the stream, man. I gotta go. Oh, Shonen, it's been great talking shop. Please come back. I'll be putting up some training videos, some other things pretty soon. So if you're interested, I'll also be going live pretty regularly. Damn, Lieutenant. For real. Dude, neural engineering, I mean, that's crazy. And I mean, look, you already know all of this stuff, but the Spider-Man build, the Olympic weightlifting builds, like neural, that's the secret, right? Like everyone knows about the mom lifting the car off the baby story, right? The hysterical strength. But that's what it is. It's that nervous system. And that's what I've got. But it's like a problem. Like my nervous system, I can crank it up to 100 very easy. So I like blow myself out constantly. Like I have to hold myself back all the time. Lieutenant Dark, if you can find articles from reputable science publications in kinesiology, that is ideal. Yes, and multiple. Don't see one paper and then go, oh my God, like that's you gotta see it more than once. I'd like to say neuroscience, but they tend to release very specific and jargon-heavy content. Subbing. Thank you, JDZ. I think the jargon-heavy content is probably because they can only get grants using like specific, vernacular, right? To get the grant money, you got to compete with every other motherfucker that's applying a paper. So you got to like, oh, this is the thermonuclear, blah, 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 because the people with the money don't understand that you have to do like science broadly to find things on accident anyway. Mr. Okota, yeah, same situation of Shonen. I've college PE in some hours, but I'm super hooked up to the live. Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. I love talking shop. And college PE, thermonuclear X-Block. Bam! That's that Wonder Woman shit, right? I always feel like she's doing this. I don't know. Just be careful. Kinesiology often has a very specific studies and research that can seem contradictory to others because they are specific. Review articles from reputable sources are better. That is unless you're pursuing academia. That's a whole other kit and caboodle. And I was looking to go into kinesiology when I switched to dance. The information is fascinating, but I wanted to like do more than like write. And I wrote papers in dance college, but it was like, if you just use flowery language, you'd impress. I mean, they're dancers, right? So they're just, oh, I'm so artistic. It works every time. Yeah, but I was like, well, I am still paying for my own college. I would have gone with kinesiology if someone else, like mommy or daddy, had paid for it. I'd probably be making bank now. Because kinesiologists, are the $1 million, yeah. It's tough. It's super specific, and it's like, oh, the deltoid tuberosity attaches here, and that allows, it's. I had to learn all of this supraspinatus, all of that stuff, to graduate. But then, like, practically in the world, when you're out dancing and in rehearsal, you're not like, oh, my supraspinatus hurts, or, it's just like, damn. I miss college. I mean, I did a dance degree, so, like, of course, I miss it. But it was like I got my independence for the first time, and I was like expanding my ideas of like what my body could do and my mind. It was like definitely the like coming of age, or like, the transition that I needed. I'm gonna go for kinesiology in college. Speculation now just because of the stream. Look into it. I mean, there's a lot of crossover, right? So like just because you start studying kinesiology doesn't mean that's where you'll end up, right? You could go heavily into neuroscience. Maybe you then go to medical school and become a brain surgeon or something, right? Neurology is like, we don't know very much. And it's hard to like convince people to like study it harder, put more money into it. It's gonna be the future, right? There are parts of your brain that can turn genes off, and it's like, I mean, there are studies going on now with like light into the eye, like activating certain neurons in the brain. So like you could potentially wear therapeutic flashlight glasses in the future that like cure your depression or something like that. It's crazy. It's really cool, in my opinion. JDZ, damn, not gonna lie, that's crazy. I just thought if you trained your nerves and then your muscle, you'd be faster. I need to learn some of this shit if I want to start fighting. It's a lot. There's a lot to learn, right? And that's where it's like, a lot of people focus on the muscles, right? That dude has big muscles, obviously he's strong, that must be the best, right? But if you notice, fighters in the UFC do not look like bodybuilders, except for Romero, right? With the fucking horse neck. That's an outlier. But it's about training efficiently, right? You don't want to use 100% power, right? It's like if you can walk down the street, that's better than going, oh, God. It's more powerful, but is it better? No, you're gonna have an aneurysm. Yeah, oftentimes kinesiology leads to physical therapy. And I've gone to a lot of physical therapists with all of my injuries and stuff. With all of the training I had, plus the dance training, and we do functional anatomy, kinesiology is part of dance. So like, I go to these physical therapists and they're like, oh, your back hurts? Maybe try like a thoracic opening and like rotation. It's like, oh, I never thought of that in my years of classical training. Maybe I should try like, a little lunge and against the wall. Oh my God, I'm sorry. If you're a physical therapist, whatever, but in my experience, a lot of physical therapists know the very like shallowest surface level stuff, but they deal with mostly like old people that can't walk or stand up, so they aren't really practicing handling like really complex problems. Exactly. People train muscle for growth, not usage. I need PT, my hips are destroyed from Muay Thai. Yeah. And that's where it's like throwing with max power and torquing the hips maximally. That's wear and tear. And I've done 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 reps of stuff. I have the wear and tear on my spine where like my vertebrae are worn down on the sides and like I have bone spurs on almost all of them just from like grinding the bones together. Bro, I have some type of displacement because of wrestling and PJJ. My left front hemisphere is damaged from epilepsy. Damn. He's not a smart man. JDZ, what the fuck and what the fuck, Lieutenant? So strong I pulled my hand in place, must have been a yanking motion. Oh, popped it back in myself. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, look, I tend to assume things, but a lot of the people that come to my streams are very knowledgeable. It's like, oh, dude, I've been there, done that. So, as long as you're good, I broke this knuckle, did nothing about it. I partially tore a tendon in this knuckle. I got it scanned. They were like, we don't really do anything. You just, Yeah, it was yanking. Punched a whizzer and kick leg to break grip. And that's the thing where it's scary, where it's like, I have all these injuries and it's like, I worry that some like yellow belt dude who's like all muscle and no brains and just wants to go hard, and then it's like, oh, well, shit, now I have a slipped shoulder or whatever. It's hard. And you don't know, like, you can train for a year at a place, some guy you haven't sparred with, you go and he gives you a leg lock and he fucking rips your shit. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm like a almost 40-year-old dude. I work at, Le Schwab, thanks. I've only dislocated and relocated knuckles too, never my hand. Well, I've punched some boards, and that's usually what does it for me. Mr. Okote, the worst thing about the seizure is the dumb things you say when you're halfway there. Dude, you can't control, that's like being like, well, that person's cursing. It's like they have Tourette's, like, it's not, you get a pass, you know what I mean? And if people aren't giving you a pass, then let me know. What have you said, if you don't mind? I'm curious. I mean, again, my experience watching people with seizures, it's only been like, they just don't know anything. It's like, don't know what's going on. It's like they're watching a dream, and it's like, it doesn't make sense, but they're like, can't, this guy that I had seen, he wasn't a talker. He would just go, oh, oh, God, for like 20 minutes, and then he'd go sleep. Same session, by the way, during wrestling. A guy dislocated his shoulder trying to grab my single leg. I don't know how he did that. I was like 21, and I said that I was 16, and it was 2018. Oof. I mean, that's not good, right? Not remembering your age or a year or who the president is, that's not good. But you got it back, so we're Gucci, right? Yeah, Mr. Okote, I cannot imagine having a, ticking EMP bomb that I gotta like try and maintain and placate, don't get too stressed or, all of that stuff. Because people are like, oh, flashing lights, but it's like, no, it's like dehydration, fatigue, like all of that stuff. It wasn't 2018, it was 2021. Wow. I can't imagine that. I've never been knocked out. I've gotten my bell rung a few times and been a little discombobulated, but never like that. That's scary. That's badass too, like you live with that and it's like, yeah, my nervous system just turns everything on to 100% sometimes, Damn, y'all old. I'm turning 19 in 5 days. JDZ, you have a lot of experience and knowledge for a 19-year-old. I am 37. I don't know how old I look. I should have asked first. Like, the bald pattern helps, but I had a baby face for a very long time. I'm not Unc. Happy early birthday. Yeah, happy early birthday. Mr. Okote. Epilepsy and martial arts don't go hand in hand. Yeah, taking impact to the head is probably not going to be your doctor's favorite thing. This fucking Shorin Ryu sensei gave me a concussion because he like kicked my leg and dropped me. I fell out on my neck. This idiot knew that I had epilepsy though. Oh my God. I mean, okay, let's assume that this dude's a total piece of shit and doesn't give, a rat's ass who he hurts. It's like, he could be fucking sued for that. Like, easy. That's an easy, like, you can't fuck with people like that, I don't understand why these no-ball dipshits have to, like, prove themselves. It's like, oh, you have epilepsy and you have problems? Well, I'm going to show you how tough I am by, bang! It's like, you're not tougher for doing that. You're just an asshole. And it's like, you could have put me in the fucking hospital. What the fuck, L Sensei? Don't do boxing or Muay Thai where you take hits to the head. Mr. Okote, concussions are not a joke. I was vomiting and had the worst headache for 2 days. Ooh, that's a real concussion. Christ. See, I'm always like, oh, I have all these problems, my back's fucked up. And then someone's like, yeah, well, I can't be tapped in the head or, my lights will go out. And it's like, oh. Okay. I mean, we all got problems, but you seem, from the text that I'm incapable of reading the tone from, you seem like you have a good attitude about it, which is good. And the fact that you were like, he's drinking, so like it seems like you're taking care of yourself, So you're doing what you can, and it's hard, like not being able to do that kind of thing, like take impacts to the head when you really want to. I mean, that's where like there's a pretty good argument for doing something like point style sparring, because you don't take the impacts to the head and you can still train the skills, right, of getting there without rocking the brain. So I mean, if you are not able to, for health reasons, take heavy impacts, maybe it's worth considering, a lighter contact sort of sport. I've learned it's not about like oh, I can't do any of this or any of that. It's like, sometimes you got to find like a little bit of a middle ground, you know? I would love to be getting my BJJ black belt, but I cannot afford any more back injuries. You know, so like I have to cope with the fact that like I can only do certain positions, you know, in wrestling, and I can't exert force in certain ways, and I just have to work around it. You know, it sucks, but once you get past the initial like I wanted to do it, you know, it's like, oh, you know, it's actually kind of an interesting challenge. Lieutenant Dark, try some other martial arts with less risk of head injury, like fencing. Fencing, again, point style fighting, you can do that. You do have to trust the people you fight with, right? Because I can say I'm not going to hit you and then hit you anyway. Let's see, fencing, Wing Chun. I mean, maybe you don't like the vertical punches, but they don't do heavy impact anything. A lot of their hand fighting is like very demonstrative. So you kind of like, you show the technique, right? You show that you could hit this guy with the knife hand and you don't, you know, slam his nerve clusters. Lieutenant Dark, I have a background in it and it's very fun. Teaches you to be explosive too. Yeah. Or grappling, yeah. I mean, grappling provided you don't let people choke you out, right? I imagine losing blood flow to the brain is like not good. So I mean, you just got to get a little more creative. I'd say kendo, but the chopping of it can hurt your head. I mean, weapons is not a bad idea. Like, there are entire schools that only train weapons, right? Like, I spent an entire year, long after I had like learned all of the open hand katas that I was going to learn, you know, and then you get good with these weapons, and I prefer the empty hand. I don't like using weapons. I like being the weapon without needing to bring anything else to the party. But it can be fun, and the same principles apply, right? So, you know, I can't slam you with a right hook maybe, but you can do your, right? And that's cool. It's cool. So you can still do some cool stuff and work around, you know, but it's a unique kind of challenge where it's like, yeah, but the guys that get the most respect are the ones that like bash each other in the head, right? But we're learning heavy sparring is not the best. Thank you for all the support. Mr. Okote, that's what the community is about, okay? And that's a big thing in karate, or at least the traditional martial arts. It's like, half of the point is like you develop this like family, right? Where we're all pursuing the same kind of thing. We all come from different places. I have a messed up back. Your brain's all squirrely, right? So we're all coming, and I get it. I don't understand from an experiential place, but I understand what it's like to be like, to not know what you're going to be able to do, and like having to like budget with like, you know, next to nothing of like, well, I can have a little bit of this. It's hard. And people, you know, people are like, oh, you have seizures, you go boom, 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 and they don't think about, you know, the insane medical bills if someone calls an ambulance for you. And you didn't know, you just woke up in the ambulance, right? Now you have to pay $20,000. All of the other stuff, they just see the flashy, you know, or the stuff on TV where someone like, it's like, but it's like, that's not what it looks like at all. Of course, don't worry about other people's opinions because they can harm you more than you think. Fencing, if you do AP or foil, is just stabbing and you wear a very good helmet. JDZ, do you speak Spanish, Okote? Listen, Okote, if people aren't supporting you, if people are giving you shit for having fucking epilepsy, bro, they need to be fucking BJJ'd, you know what I'm saying? Personally, I like EP because rules are simpler and target areas everywhere. I'm a toe stabber personally. I've seen, I saw this crazy move. I don't know anything about fencing, but I saw this move where someone did like a, right, so they like fence like this, and they did like a behind the back, I don't even know, but they whipped it around like this and got him sideways. It was crazy. I'm sure it was huge. Bali Oz, I don't know how to say that. Hi, is it Taekwondo or Karate? What do you practice? I practice Karate. I'm more the fist. I can throw kicks. Not as good as a Taekwondo practitioner, you know, but I can hit the front kick here. I can hit the front kick here. I can hit the head kick, right? The hook. I like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but I like doing the hook kick with the ball of the foot. So it's like a slap. It's like more disrespectful, you know? I got into judo to learn how to fall. Huge, huge. Most old people fall, and that's how they like end up in the hospital, and then they get hurt, and that limits their mobility, and that's kind of the decline. Learning to fall is like one of the most valuable things you could ever do. Since then, I've got a love of appreciation for the art. Oh, Cote speaks Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so, you know, you guys could totally do a whole wind talker thing, and I would have no idea. Bro, I seen it was sick. Argentinian, I'm Cuban. Woo! Got a lot of spice in the chat. I like that. I like that a lot. I loved South America. It was so cool. Okay, the one thing I didn't like about Brazil is that there's fucking ham and mayo in everything. You order a salad and it's like a half pound of ham, and it's like, I had ham on my breakfast and I'll have ham on my pizza later, you know, and I'm not big on mayo, but it's like, ham comes with everything. Ham and mayo. Dude, and it's so gorgeous. And like, you walk down these old streets. I'm talking about Fortaleza at least. And it's like this old style church, right? It's hundreds of years old. It's like, you know, like got the moss, looks sick. And down the street, like 1 block over is the beach. And it's this huge long boardwalk, people doing slackline tricks and flips, you know. Our first night in Brazil, we saw a dude with no pants and a machete, and he was just doing this. And our cab driver was like, yeah, that's the machete guy. Lieutenant Dark, I'm fair-skinned, but I learned Spanish in school. Shit, good. Oh, are you from Miami? In Benito, Miami. I've been to Miami briefly. I think it was actually coming back from that South American tour. No pants and a machete. Look, man, shit's different in Brazil, okay? Man, it was crazy though. Like, one of the dancers in our group was a like strawberry blonde redhead, very pale. She could not shake. People were just like falling around like, oh, wow. Like, hey, and it's like, no. Lieutenant Dark's from Chicago. JDZ, I don't live in fucking Kansas City. Bro's 8 hours away. Chicago. I love that it translated something, I don't know how to say that, to fair-skinned. I don't know. I speak a little bit of Japanese, okay? 僕は日本語が話します。Let's see. When I would be late to Japanese class in high school, I'd be like, 僕は雷に打たれましたから、それから頭が燃えましたね. Which is, I was struck with lightning and my head caught on fire. It's my favorite thing to say. The mad martial artist is the only one that doesn't know Spanish. Let's keep it English so our guy can understand. That's a lot of respect. You know, if you wanna Habla. See, I'm not even going to do it. I sound so fucking white. Jesus Christ. I appreciate it, but if you wish to converse, develop your strategy for taking me down, that's your right. That's your right. I wonder. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you just got to put your foot in someone's face. And I mean, they don't do this in Muay Thai, right? Like, I wish they would, but it's like super disrespectful to like put the bottom of your foot on someone's face. It's like a big middle finger. Lieutenant Dark, it's a derogatory term for white people. Hey, listen, we've had a really good run, so bring it on. Call me a slur. I really, the amount of privilege I have is a really easy buffer, But my Mexican friends call me it out of love. They're good friends. I only know a tiny bit of Japanese from anime. I want to learn it, but it's hard. It's hard. The structure's different. And I think because it's so different, it was easier for me to like separate from English, right? I just like I like the structure. It's like, French is hard because it's like there's so many letters and consonants that are completely invisible when you speak it, Je suis désolé, mais je n'ai pas la français. You don't hear half of those letters, and so it's like, how do I learn when you don't say half the stuff that I'm still learning to spell. So, but Japanese is super like strict, like ka, mi, na, ri. There's like very little ambiguity. It's also a lot easier than Chinese, but they use some of the same characters in the kanji. People that have different dialects and are sheeple say that it's derogatory. It's just an observation that was used derogatory by Hispanics upon the invaders. I mean, I am part of the most privileged group on the planet, but it's like, if you can't offend me with it, I don't really care. I worked in a construction warehouse when I was 15. I mean, they would curse at me in Spanish all the time, puta, and like all this other stuff, but they're just ribbing me. It doesn't matter. Lieutenant Dark, you could theoretically hide teep in Muay Thai, but you rarely see it because teeps aren't meant for that. Yeah, and I mean, once you get like way past the center of mass, it's way up here, like you push the chest, you can't, it's so high up that you can't hit it with the same force to like penetrate, right? So you just kind of put your foot on top, you can kind of like, but unless you overextend and you push in, but. Exactly. Gringo is used offensively, not güero. It really depends on tone and context. Yeah. Argentina, I can't go. They'd stone me for being dark and having braids. Damn. Bro, being dark and having braids is dope. Tall, dark, handsome. You can do the, I don't have that. I can't do the, use it. I mean, I'm just not someone that gets offended by like name calling. I was bullied before I took karate as a kid. Oh, you're bald. Uh-huh. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, brother. I can do the wave out of the pool. Yeah. You got to get that slow-mo, man. Ladies love it. Dude, and here's the thing, man. If I've learned anything, okay, it's that I'm going to say 51 or more % of racist pieces of shit who have a problem with skin color, if you looked at their like search history, you know what I'm saying? You'd find a lot of the stuff they claim to hate buried. It's something they desire and they get jealous. So it's like, it's totally fucking transparent, and it's like, dude, you clearly are just intimidated by a tall, beautiful black person or whatever. you're showing your cards by lashing out like that. I really want to learn combat sambo. I wish we had it in the States. Yeah, finding it is hard. And even if you did like find someone who taught it, it's like, maybe it's legit, you know, or maybe it's like sort of American karate plus a couple judo throws, and you know, you wear the helmets and everything. One, two, three. Mr. Okote, it's not really common to see really dark-skinned people, maybe just African and Caribbean immigrants. You're on point with the search history comment. Dude, and it's like, I know people where it's like, I wish I could just press a button and release all that stuff, and then you'd see like all of the most racist like Southern dudes, they're looking up, you know, big black women online, obviously, you know, but they've twisted their psychology, and it like erupts out of them in hatred because they hate that their cognitive, you know, dissonance is not allowing them to remain horny about, you know, other people of other races and also maintain their like superiority bullshit. It's all horseshit. It's a mentality thing for sure, almost like seeing a different species of bird and seeing it as a predator instead of an equal. Or just a bird, you know? Like, you know what's crazy looking? A bird from like sideways, it's like intimidating, but then it looks at you front and it's like, it looks like a Muppet. And you can learn it there, but there isn't much, if any, competition stage for sambo. Yeah, that's the other thing, is like, you're with the other 10 dudes that practice it. And so it's like, I don't even know how good I can be, because it's like, the pool is so small. Not gonna lie, sambo is the best base for MMA besides like kudo. Yeah, I mean, but it's the same principles, right? It's pressure testing, opening up techniques that are like illegal or too dangerous, except, you know, letway, you know, kudo. There's like all sorts of knees, headbutts. People are okay. I honestly think kudo should get rid of the helmet. I don't really think it helps anything, and it's like a different technique to try and fight with like a fogged up thing in front of your face. And if you know you aren't gonna, like, your eyes can't be damaged, you're gonna do things that like you wouldn't normally. You're gonna put your head in places where normally it's not shielded. Kudo, yeah, kudo is like karate's version of sambo. Basically, they open up all the rules where it's like you can do headbutts, grappling, throws, a little bit of ground, you know. It's like, it's hardcore. If someone has succeeded in the kudo world, they will fuck you up. And it's like barely karate, you know. They train it much more like sambo. It does not, they should use boxing headgear. Yeah, it's the space helmet, and yeah. Nah, man, the helmet must stand kudo. But why? I mean, I understand, like, we don't want cuts, but like, it's different. It's like, if I had a football helmet on, it would change the tactics. And so it's like, I feel like you'd overuse the head. I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried kudo, so I'm talking out of my ass. But boxing headgear, it only protects from cuts. It doesn't affect brain damage at all. You know, they put it on kids because it looks like a helmet, and it does keep them from getting cut, which, you know, is a big deal. But they take it off for the amateurs, after the amateurs, because it's like, your brain's, not that anyone in the competitive space gives a shit whether you remember how to walk or talk in 20 years, right? They don't care. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, head pressure is not talked about in a lot of like martial arts. And I mean, in grappling, you know, and like wrestling, you get And you use it as like a framing device, right? As like a deterrent. You can sort of rub in here. But I feel like if I had a shield in front of my face, I'd just pam, 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 pam. Maybe I wouldn't be a good kudo fighter. Maybe that's what it is. Mr. Okote, os. Os. Domo arigatou. Thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. Hopefully I can bring you content you want. If you want to see something in particular, now's a great time to be like, hey, I'm looking to train XYZ. You know, give me a workshop on question mark kicks or, you know, I don't know, pirouettes. Because that's what I want. I want to give, I have my own training goals, right? I have my own journey, but I want to pass on like the secrets. They're not secrets, right? But it's like, I just want to fast track other people to get the cool shit that I spent, you know, 5, 10, 15 years building up. You want any question mark kicks? Hell yeah. Let's do it, you know? Talk about types of fatigue if you want. I should. And a lot of people aren't really up on the CNS fatigue. I mean, it's becoming more of a thing now. It has to trickle down through all of the, you know, the like health podcasts to like other people, and then they share it to other people. So it's like, it's just slowly becoming a thing. And a lot of people are not going to think it's legit. You know, it's like, oh, I have central nervous system fatigue. And they'll be like, oh, your fucking tummy hurts. You know, like they don't understand that it's a real thing. I've been talking forever. Okay, types of fatigue, I'll put that on the list. Training my sidekicks right now, they've been sharp as blades. Any tips to make my chamber and rechamber faster or slicker? Be a pioneer. Ooh, I like that, yeah. Yes, I can give you some tips. The biggest thing that I've found for me, I don't know what you, like, some people have aphantasia, they can't visualize, you know, but I can. So I tend to visualize skipping frames. So to me, I don't think about the whole kick. I think about just, it's already there and it's already back. And that mental cue, like imagining like I'm doing the Goku like thing, that tends to help. The other thing that helps is if you've been drilling your sidekicks and you know you've got a good sidekick, bam, right? Sharp, full extension, you have no problem, right, delivering the force. Then, the reason my hands are fast, right, and I'm tired, it's been a couple hours, but the retraction is half of the movement, right? I tell myself to start retracting right before I make contact. Now that's my timing of like, I know by the time I tell myself to pull back, the signal will hit the arm just after I've hit here, and then by that time the thought has turned into neurological action, right? So right before I'm gonna hit, I think pull. And my leg is already traveling, so it finishes, and then I pull faster instead of 1, 2, right? It's not 1 and 2, it's ha! It's like, instead of thinking like I'm going punch out, punch in, it's like I'm going, like I'm trying to snatch something and take it away, right? So the emphasis, I put more emphasis on retraction because I know I can send it, right? And it's gonna end up there. But if I preempt it by like a couple frames, right? If I try and be fast and think like, pop, pop. But if I cheat and I think to pull back earlier, right? It's when I do this, I feel sore in my biceps from pulling back. It's the same thing with the legs, right? So as you're driving out here, right? I'm almost extended. This is extended. I'm just before then. Now I think I gotta retract. Bum, bum. So it's like, I gotta retract. I should start retracting now, like that. Oh, Wing Chun philosopher in the house. Welcome. Oh, Sanshin? Okay, we'll do that in a second. I train 10 to 12 hours a week while getting weightlifting in. The best way I've been able to get past the CNS fatigue is extra sleep. Hell yeah. Sleep, if you have bad sleep, improving your sleep to normal has a stronger effect on your muscles, your body, than steroids. Let me say it again. Getting good sleep is more powerful than steroids. End of discussion. You want to do more? You got to sleep more. You want to live like a lion? You got to rest like a lion. You got to lay around for like 12 hours so you can bam, 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 sprint. Still have to cut back on occasion. Yeah, it's a balancing game, especially when you want to do so much. The weightlifting, all of it, it's like, it's hard. You got to pick priorities. I do that with my punches. That makes 100% sense. Hold on, I'm going to get up and try. Holy shit, I feel like Bruce fucking Lee. Thanks, Unc. Oh, of course. That's what I want. That's all I want. I want to talk shop, and I want to be like, hey, try this. And you go, oh, shit. That's what I want. That's sick, right? I don't want to have all the power. I want to be a mutant and to find out, oh, what's your mutant power? What's your mutant power? Let me help you, turn that shit on. Lieutenant Dark, my worst day, I do 4 hours of Muay Thai, and then right after BJJ, and then right after, wrestling last? The fatigue is, well, I guess if you did wrestling first, you couldn't do anything else. But my gym has unlimited classes with a monthly payment, so I try to get most bang for buck. Yeah, that's what I did when I was at the Krav Maga place. That's where they had Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling. So I was doing like 15 plus hours a week too. It was hard, but it's like, for the prices I was paying, the membership fee, I was gonna get my money's worth. I feel so fast, holy moly. Good, JD, good. That's what we want. And sometimes when you're rested, right, when you're not thinking about it, you're primed because you don't have the fatigue and stress, right? So sometimes like I'll get up and doing nothing and it's like, oh my God. And then I try and replicate that later and it's like, it's not there. I really felt the bicep tendon pulling. Yes, it's explosive, right? Everyone explodes this way, but we have all these huge muscles that contribute, right? Especially in the arm, maybe you get some lats, right? But it's really mostly in the bicep. So, and with the leg, you're gonna feel that in the hamstring here too. You might cramp up, right? One thing I do for hamstring cramps, if this is a problem, is just squeeze and hold until you start to feel the cramp coming. There. And you just build up that slow endurance with it. You're just teaching your nervous system, like, it's freaking out, because it's like, you just got to do it enough where it's like, oh, okay. Uh-oh, people competing for the top spots in the chat. I guess you'll have to fight each other. Wing Chun philosopher, name calling to shame a name caller to point out their hypocrisy is okay with me. I agree. Sometimes you got to fight fire with fire, you know? What's the worst thing that's ever happened to you, Lieutenant? What? Oh, taking the spot. That's the worst thing that's happened to you? Brother, what a blessed life. Wing Chun, when I watch karate styles work the poles compared to kung fu styles, I see the difference in body structure. Interesting. I mean, karate really, I mean, they've got a huge thing for like tension and like hitting hard. But I don't know that I've seen a lot of karate practitioners work the dummy. I would love to get one, but they're like $2,000 or $3,000, as you probably know. Poles like north, south, east, or west. I don't think so. And would we have 4 poles, lower body, upper body, and both sides? I think that's too little. You know? I mean, you need the arms, legs. I think Wing Chun has, what, 3 or 4? No, like in Kung Fu, you see upper body pivots and weight shifts to engage shorter range power. Ah, yeah. This is something that I have been working on a lot in my own practice of generating power from like these shortened positions, right? Like, I was trying to explain this to another guy who was live and he just couldn't get it, where it's like, if I throw this jab out, I don't have to pull back and then throw the hook, right? If I come here and I roll into it, I can fire off the hook from a closer position. It's not max power because you don't wind up and throw it, but you use the like line of the body to generate that force like here to then get the power from a short distance. And that's something like people didn't understand, where I could hit them here. I could hit them with like my elbow is essentially resting on my hip bones or my ribs, right? It's like resting here. And it's right here, and you can if you really understand these mechanics, you can generate power, right? People just use, it's like you can either use centrifugal force and many angles to generate this, or you can use time and distance, right? It's all just about giving it time to build up that energy. JDC, I want to understand. Yeah, and you see a lot of like Kung Fu, a lot of things happen like they're supported from underneath, and then it's like and here's another thing. There's like a lot of elbow support, right? So like all of these things are super supported here. Like I'm resting on my lats, and I could like pick somebody up here, right? If Bob ran into me, I'm completely solid. Like, because my bones aren't going to bend, right? If they do, I have bigger problems. But I'm solid here. So that internal, like shifting here and like creating angles and opening up things, it's like there's a huge amount of range here. And I don't have to do this at all. Do you find any translation in sparring working the pole dummy? One thing, I don't work the pole, wink, right? Not that pole or the one we're talking about. But a big thing in karate is conditioning the arms. So you do a lot of like Bob and I will like smack each other's arms to develop this like hardness. In that sense, it can help you in that sometimes people block in sparring and it's just enough to like stop it. But if you block aggressively, it becomes a strike, and then it's like it really discourages people from attacking you. So if you can get that like hardness, that like and like really block as an attack sort of, right? You're blending offense and defense. That is where you can like hurt people, and then it's like they go to roundhouse kick you and you boom, and you just sit on it, right? And it bruises their shin, and then they're like, they don't want to throw it again. Mr. Okote, I have no clue how people break bricks and stuff with the 1-inch punch. I do have a video on the 1-inch punch. It's not the strictest, but it's like the principles. I've broken boards before with the 1-inch punch, so you can check that out. But it's rotational forces is the answer. It's about instead of just going out and using my full skeleton here, I'm whipping all of this, spinning it up to bam, throw that punch. And that's how I can get a pretty effortless strong punch. Dan Consterdine is a 9th degree karate practitioner who talks about the double hip, right? So the double hip is where he doesn't draw back and throw it. He throws the hip forward first and allows the elasticity, the pull of the stretch in the muscles to initiate the strike, right? So there's very little tension. It's just the passive tension from if you were to hold your arm back and the tension in your shoulder here, as it catches up to your hip, right? Your hip goes first, this stretches, bam, and then it lets go. Same principle, it's rotation. So, you know, if I punch within my own space here, it doesn't transfer as much force. But if I spin my hips forward, and I'm not gonna throw hard, I'm just gonna let my hand go, I'm just gonna tighten the fist, right? So turn the hips, no effort, no squeezing the abs, nothing. Just build up a force, straight line, deliver it to the target. It's all physics. It's all physics. And breaking bricks and boards is not as hard as it looks. It's hard and it hurts, but there is a way to do it. Yeah, again, physics, like some of it's tricks, right? If you see multiple bricks with spacers, the spacers are what allow the force to go all the way through. If you just put 6 bricks on top of each other, nobody is going to go through all of them. But it's the space that allows that energy to like continue through, right? So it's like, it looks more impressive than it is. It takes actual physical conditioning, but most people could break a board if they like actually committed to it. In Wing Chun, all motions translate to open hand. It's not treated differently in its shapes and motions. Right, like this shape is a block, it's a strike, it's a frame, it's all the same thing. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Monsieur philosopher. Geometry and physics issuing your body. Yeah, exactly. I work the pole, but not the pole dummy. Hey, one makes a lot more money than the others. Mr. Okote, Southern Kung Fu and Goal Judo are closely connected. When I was a Muay Thai knucklehead, I really dissed Kung Fu. Then I got into Goal Judo and opened my mind. Yeah, and I mean, that's honestly what it takes, right? It's like, everyone makes fun of the thing until you experience it, and then it's like, oh, right, you know? Call that forced empathy. I don't have the spine awareness to do it yet, gonna train it. Well, you develop the sensitivity by practicing. And that's another thing I want to encourage you guys. There's no prepping, right? It's not like, oh, I got to do 6 months of blank before I can go take my boxing class. No, do that now. You'll figure it out along the way. I feel like you would have more torque to it. I feel like you would have more torque to attack at a distance. Why would you want to close and use Wing Chun punches? But you don't always have the luxury of distance, right? And you know, you can't say, well, I'm just going to keep him at a distance, right? What if your long-range weapons don't work and he gets around them? What if he's faster than you? What if he's got better body awareness and he can pivot and roll around, you know? So you should have weapons for every scenario, right? Being, oh, I only do head kicks to the temple roundhouse style. Okay, cool. Well, the one time that works, it's gonna look great. We're gonna clip it. It's gonna be awesome. The other times, you're gonna get owned by a dude who knows 3 punches. You got it, and being in close is more realistic, right? Like, people don't attack you from a distance. They wait until they're really close and then they attack you, right? They don't say, Bob, better get ready, I'm gonna mug you. It'll take me 6 minutes to run over there, right? No, they already start here and then boom, they're in your face, they're holding you, right? So being able to generate power from any distance is super important. You cannot rely on like, oh, well, I have the Falcon Punch. You won't have time for the Falcon Punch all the time. Because they use rotation angles and it creates power, exactly physics. But like, wouldn't you get more damage from a torque standpoint applying rotation angles, but at a distance? Yeah. So if you have more distance, you have more time to build up power, right? If I hit Bob with a bat from short distance, less power, right, than long distance. But who said you need maximum power every single time? People get knocked out from the silliest things, right? The idea that you need to throw as hard as possible every time is a myth. you're gonna gas out and you might overcommit on that first punch, right? And then he grapples you, flips you, and then all of that training, it doesn't matter. Are Wing Chun punches meant for clinch? Totally, yeah. They're meant for all sorts of, you can grab and drive. A lot of Wing Chun is like grabbing, like getting your hands, hooking. Hooking is huge. That's a big part of Goal Judo, is we don't just grab, but like I hook with the wrist, right? So even if I don't get this, I've still kind of got a little bit of leverage. My battery's dying, so we probably can't go for much longer. How is that phrase? A block is a blow is a lock is a... yeah, I can't remember, but it's good, and it's true. You kick at kicking range, you punch at punching range, in close use elbows, headbutts, sweeps, and throws. Don't punch if you're in close and your elbows are right there, right? Thank you, yes. Why would you like, when it's right there, it's bigger. It's Wing Chun philosopher is right on. He's not going to be one of these like purists. It's like, no, it's like, why? Why are you trying to force stuff to fit? It's like, use the thing that's appropriate. If you don't have room for a full punch, well, I guess you can't do that. If you don't have room to do a head kick, well, then I guess you got to think of something else, right? And it's like, well, I don't have max power and distance, so I guess I'll just let him mug me, or I won't strike. No, you're going to take whatever opportunity you have, even if it's less than optimal. Jesse Enkemp says it all the time. Yeah, and he's right. I got to go. Lieutenant Dark, Os, thank you for joining. Appreciate the talk. Mushi the sticking hand, sticky rice cake. Yeah. Bars. Yeah. Yeah. So, he's totally right. A lot of Wing Chun guys don't get respect from a lot of even other traditional martial artists, because it's like, well, maybe they don't do a ton of sparring or whatever, but it's like they're exploring concepts that you are not even considering. And talk about wrestling. You know what happens in wrestling? Hand fighting, right? Switching grips. Huge. It's a huge part of wrestling. You know who's really good at hand fighting? Wing Chun practitioners. So, ultimately, the style wars are fun, and it's cool to be like, team blue versus team red. But ultimately, it's kind of all the same stuff. Different people choose to focus on different principles, But it's the same. It's the same. Well, my battery's about to die. I've gone longer than I expected, but I've had a good time. We've had a lot of good conversation. Deep. Got some deep lore on some people, too. So I appreciate you guys stopping by. Maybe I'll give you a little hook kick to end, but I appreciate you being here training with me and make it more fun. And yeah, I'll be putting out some actual long-form videos pretty soon. Love you, man. Mr. Okote. あなたは大好きです. I love you too. Okay? All right. Let's do a little. Actually, I want to do the left here. Let's see. Get a good shot of it. Okay. 1, 2. Say goodbye, Bob. 3. All right. Os. Yeah, I had a blast. Thanks for joining. Hope to see you soon.